Hello, everybody. Wow, I'm so overwhelmed by the turnout. How's everyone doing this morning? If you guys can just give me 2 seconds, I want to turn on my Instagram live for people who wants to watch it, who can make it to this wonderful fest. This is my first year here. I'm really excited to be here. And I'm hoping to allow 10 minutes to open up a Q&A at the end for anybody who may have questions. But let me do this. Let's see. Live. Okay, and we're on. Okay, so how's everyone doing? Great, okay. My name is Lynette Williams. Most people, oh yeah, that would help. I am not Instagram savvy. Oh, here we go. Flip it. There we go. What's up? We're live. Most people know me as Lynette. Some know me as Gal, and I'm here to show you the most out of your keys. I'm currently touring with Childish Gambino, a.k.a. Donald Glover. I also tour with Layla Hathaway, and I want to just give you guys a little, glimpse into what I do. So let's get started. So as you see, I have 5 keyboards here. It may seem like a lot, but it makes my job a lot easier because I don't have to keep switching or split sounds. Like I can, and I also feel cool. I feel like, I can swivel around. I feel kind of like a Houdini, and they're like, oh my God, this girl's playing 6 boards. It's really cool. So let me just give you a quick tutorial of the boards that I play. This board, how awesome is this board? It's like bright red, it's super cool. This is a Korg M50. This is what I use with Layla most of the time. I usually play pad sounds, synth lead sounds, which I'll show you. I have a signature sound that I've called Sex Patch that I'll give you guys a tutorial of why I call it Sex Patch. I also play strings out of here. This board right here is my baby. This is the Korg Chronos. This is my favorite board in the whole entire world. I've had this board since day one. This is the Chronos 2. I had the Chronos 1. Let me tell you, this board is pianos, Rhodes, synth sounds, you name it. This is my number one right here. And I play this board both with Gambino and with Layla Hathaway. This board right here is called the King Korg. This board is really cool. I play some really cool synth sounds. I also play some really cool clavy sounds, which I'll show you an example of when I play a Donald Glover song. This is a Hammond. I'm a Hammond player also. Hammond gal, hence the word Hammond gal. And this is self-explanatory. I don't need to program anything. I play it live as if it's a real organ. I change the settings on the drawbars as if I were playing a real Hammond B3. So this organ is awesome. Okay, and last but certainly not least, this is the Prologue. How many of you guys are familiar with the Korg Prologue? It's a really, really cool analog board. I'm still learning this board, but the cool thing about this board is everything is right here in front of you. You guys know most analog boards, I can play anything live. So in most songs I do with Gambino, I'll start at a bass, and I'll change it, the cutoff. So that's a really cool board, and I'm having fun playing with it. I feel like a mad scientist playing with the knobs as I'm on stage, looking really cool. And people are just like, wow. And all I'm doing is really changing the cutoff, the resonance, maybe add a little reverb. But it's a cool board. So what I want to get into is I want to play a first song for you guys. How many of you guys are familiar with Childish Gambino? Wow, okay. He has a song off of his record called Waking My Love that I've been honored, along with my bandmates, to be a part of the recording of this album, and it's called Boogeyman. And on that song, I play, let me get to that sound. I play a Whirly Rhodes. I play strings. I play clavy, and I play a synth bass. I'm going to show you guys how we put that together. Is that okay? Okay, this song is called Boogeyman. Oh, I also play the Hammond too. Can't leave the Hammond out. Can everybody hear that? Cool. Here we go. With the
and my rising sun. Though we're not the one, but in the bowels of your mind, we have done the right. Every boy and girl all around the world knows my nigga's word. But if he's scared of me, how can we be free? Yeah. Yes. You got to help us, can you? Yes, I can.
Yeah, it's a really cool song. That song was actually inspired, that whole album was inspired from Donald we did Bonnaroo, I think it was 2015. How many of you guys are familiar with that festival in Nashville? It was a really cool experience, 2 a.m. in the morning, super humid, and we went to see D'Angelo live. We had just finished our set, and we saw D'Angelo's set. It was a 2.5-hour set. They were so incredible that inspired Donald to create Awaken My Love. So D'Angelo was a huge inspiration, and it was cool to see that birth happen. So thank you for allowing me to play that song for you. Now let's get to Sex Patch. So basically what Sex Patch is, it's a lead sound that from a factory sound in the M50 that I've created. So what I wanted to do for a quick second is I don't have Sex Patch on this board. I'm going to try and just create a little sound very similar to it, and then I'm going to show you how I play this sound and how it's become popular and how I've become known as Lynette Hammergal Sex Patch player. So basically I just start with a basic lead sound, any kind of like sine lead, and this sound is actually a mono lead sound, meaning you can only play one note at a time. I'm going to change that and make it poly. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into basic and go from mono to poly, and then I'm going to save that. I'm going to write the program, and now I can play chords with it. And I've already added some extra reverb to it. I took off some of the highs, warmed it up a little, and this is how I incorporate this sound. I add a warm pad, which is so wonderful on the Chronos. And what I did was I actually warmed this up more. I took the highs down. I took off a little of the reverb. So I'm just going to give you a quick example of how I like to play this patch. Tell me what you think. Tell me if it should be Sex Patch. That's that's become a huge phenomenon. So I use that sound a lot with Layla Hathaway. Like, you know, how many of you guys know who Layla Hathaway is? Amazing, amazing singer, daughter of amazing giant Donny Hathaway, and it's such a pleasure to work with her. And there are two different, it's playing with Gambino, it's more I'm headbanging, I'm playing all these fun synth patches, but with Layla, it's just about just grit. It's so, I'm playing the Chronos and the M50. She has anyone ever heard her remake of Anita Baker's Angel? So what I want to do is I kind of want to entertain you guys. I'm trying not to do a lot of talking. That's where I'm going to open up the Q&A. So I'm going to give you a little Layla mini concert. This is a medley called Angel leading into Love's Holiday. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Feel free to clap along. Feel free to sing along. This track that I'm playing along with was actually from a show we did. We just muted my keyboards. So imagine her being on the stage right now singing it. All right. Can you turn the...
If I could, I'd give you away. Wrap it
loves us to break it down so you can really get the essence of her voice. I wanna know what good love feels like. Good love, good love. When we met, always knew I would feel that magic for you on my mind constantly. Y'all don't know the song. What's the next verse? That's an excerpt of her concert. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, like I said, as you can see, they're two totally different artists, but it's still fulfilling musically, you know. They both challenged me in many ways. With Layla, I used to be so nervous, and I used to be like, oh my God, that's Donny Hathaway's daughter, like, you know, ugh. And she has perfect pitch. For those who that doesn't know what perfect pitch is, basically, she can, if I hit a note, woo, she can tell me what note that is. I don't have that gift. I have relative pitch. But anyway, I'm going to get to one more song, and then I want to open up a Q&A. How many of you guys know the song Redbone? Yes, that is one of Donald's most popular songs, and that is a song we do at the very end of the show, you know, and most people there are waiting for This Is America and Redbone. Like, they're waiting. They're just like, okay, when are you going to do it? Like, we know you're going to do it, you know. And on that song, I mainly play, I play the Chronos, which I play on most songs. I also play the organ, which is featured on that, well, not on the album, but live, they feature the organ. I play clavi. Like I said, this is my clavi. And then I think those are the only three boards that I play. So I'm going to give you guys a little snippet of Redbone. Is that cool? fun part. Where I can go back to my church roots. That's like one of my favorite songs to ever play is Redbone. Like, that's a real one, and it really takes you back to church. He has singers, he has everyone. And actually, this is really a condensed setup. I actually have one more keyboard, which is the Fender Rhodes. How many of you guys are familiar with the Fender Rhodes? Yeah, that is a kick butt keyboard, right? Like, and I have so much fun with it. I put a delay pedal on top of it. I have all types of fun sounds to play on just one Whirly Rhodes. And I also have a volume pedal. I don't know if you heard, there were strings throughout that. We kept the strings in the track. So usually my Rhodes is over here, and I'm playing the volume pedals over here, but it's being triggered from this. And I want to see, yes. So basically, what I did is there's a thing over here called Latch. And basically, it's basically self-explanatory. You can actually turn it on, and I hold the high D that I usually do on Redbone, right? And rather than me manually have to keep turning it down, I have a volume pedal normally over here. So I don't even have to look at the Chronos. It's kind of magic. I love, it's kind of fun to go in and out, in and out. So that's a really cool feature on this keyboard that I really love. So I really want to, open up some Q&As. Yes.
The Chronos is an awesome keyboard with the performance parts of it. Do you ever set up zones and patch sends to the other keys when you're using it?
Yes. So the cool thing, usually we have a playback guy. He sends MIDI to the Prologue and to the King chord. The Chronos, the cool thing about the Chronos is you have this mode called set mode. Set list mode, where everything is in front of you. And I can literally play one sound and sustain that sound and play another and switch to another patch, and it won't break up. So let's say if I'm going so that's a really cool feature. So I don't even have to worry about the Chronos as far as having it sent to me, but really cool. I do have all my sounds sent to me MIDI from the Prologue and the King chord. So actually in Boogeyman, I don't ever really play this part live. while I'm playing I'm actually, that's being sent to me. It's playing on its own while I can focus more on this. So it gives me more room because you only have two hands, right? Great question. Yes. Yes, sir.
I noticed you were kind of switching back and forth between your sustain pedals.
Right.
And can you explain how you have your sustain pedals set up?
Sure. So I use sustain for all of my legato boards that I play legato sounds on. So normally my Rhodes is over here. My King Korg I use sustain on when I'm not playing clavi, and on the M50 and the Chronos. So what works easier for me, like when I'm playing with Layla, when I'm playing the M50 and Chronos, it just, for me, my brain, I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed, I don't know if it's a common thing, but the top board is usually to my left, and the bottom board is usually to my right. It's just easy for me to register. There have been times where, band members have played a trick on me and switched the pedals, and I'm confused. I'm thinking the polarity is off, and I'm looking around and they're just cracking up, and I'm just gullible. I'm thinking, something's wrong with the board, So it's really cool. And even with the organ, I actually usually play foot pedals, because there are parts of Gambino's show where it's just me and him, and I'm playing the organ by myself. And so it's really cool. I have this cool volume pedal right here, just like a real Hammond would, where you can glide in. And then usually my King Korg pedal is usually over here to my right. So usually the organ pedal is right here, because there's a small MIDI foot pedal. So right next to it is the organ pedal, and then usually I put the King Korg over here. And then, of course, the Rhodes is self-explanatory. It has, that wonderful pedal I love, and it's such a cool thing. You kind of get used to it, but, yeah, I think it's funny. The band, both bands, Layla and with Gambino, they love to play tricks on me. I don't know why. I came, there were stickers, like goat stickers, all over the Hammond and King Korg, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm the easy target. But any other questions? Yes, sir.
Could you give us a brief bio as to how you got where you are today musically?
Yes. Lynn was telling me, that's a great name, by the way, Lynn. I really got my start in the industry. So I went to Berkeley College of Music in Boston. And from there, I'm originally from the Bay Area. I now reside in Los Angeles. But I just, going to that school, you meet so many people. You have so many connections. You never know. You might get a call one day. And the same guy who actually called me, he's Layla Hathaway's music director. His name is Eric Pickfunk Smith. Shout out to him. He called me. I was in Vegas on vacation with my friends. And he was like, "Where you at, kiddo?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm at the pool. I'm in Vegas." It was like 2006. And, little fun note. I was supposed to audition for Beyonce. This was the first time she wanted to put together an all-girl band. Flew all the way from, the Bay Area to LA, was really ready for this, got in line, waited in line for 3 hours. To the third person in line, I freaked out and I walked away. So I never did the audition because I was just so nervous and, I was still, and it just goes to show, never walk away from any opportunity, I'm grateful that I got it's rare, but I'm grateful that I got a second chance to, I'm going to do this. So when he called me and he said, "Hey, if you can get on the flight tonight, will.i.am is holding auditions for all-girl band once again." And my hair has a mind of its own, keeps grabbing the mic. But I was like, here we go again. This is my chance. So got on a plane, flew to Center Staging in Burbank. I was scared. I said a prayer. I was like, you know what? If it's meant for me, it'll be. But at least people have seen me. Got there. will.i.am was in there. And I was like, wait, I didn't know he was going to be in here. And instantly I played, I'm trying to remember what song it was. It was one of his songs it was a solo project called Songs About Girls. And it was just 2 chords. But I guess I'm such a passionate player. I play emotionally. I'm not, I always say I'm not all about, how fast you can play or, how many chords you can play. It's about playing from here. And he felt something in that, and he hired me on the spot. And that was from there, I went from him to playing with Bone Thugs and Harmony. Who'd have thought? But it was cool. I might write a book about that tour one day. Whew. Yeah. Then I went on to do stage plays for a director, playwright named David E. Talbert, and that's where Sex Patch was actually birthed. I remember being in the pit He just bought an M50. I'm like, what is this board? Because he didn't want to pay a little extra for the M3. And he was like, they said it's the same. And I'm like, what is this? This thing, I can hold it on one arm. Let me tell you, I've been through 4 M50s, okay? I love that board. And one day I just, during one of the scenes, the cool thing about doing a stage play, you kind of do underscores live, as you're watching them act in front of you. And it was a scene, and it was supposed to be like a romantic scene where they're like, falling in love. And I was like, I was looking around, and he was like, I just want to let you know that I love you so much, and I just think you're so amazing, and, whoops, let me see. Oh, baby, I love you so much, too. Yeah. And then from there, he was like, we've got to put this in everything, let me tell you. And let me tell you, the funny thing, Sex Patch, get you a lead and, create, tweak that baby, put a little reverb on it, take a little highs off. Let me tell you, they will make you play that for everything. When I first played with Donald Glover, he was mainly hip-hop, like, yeah, whoa, whoa. But they wanted me to play Sex Patch over everything. I remember, I went in there. I'll tell a quick brief how I started with Gambino. I didn't know I was auditioning. They made it seem like I wasn't, but I got a random call from Ludwig Göransson, who is an amazing, he co-wrote Redbone, he co-wrote This Is America. He's also an amazing film scorer from Sweden. He did Black Panther, he did, Creed, he did We Are the Millers. The list is endless. This guy is incredible. Everything he touches turns to gold. So that's why I'm always like trying to hug him so I could turn to gold. But he called me and said Donald had never had a keyboard player in his band. For 4 years prior to me joining 6 years ago, the guitar players would play keyboards, but it would be mostly MIDI and to be tracked and everything. So he wanted a keyboard player, specifically a female keyboard player. He's like, I want to give a female a chance, but I don't just want any female keyboard player. I want a keyboard player that just happens to be a female. And so, he went through all these females, and Ludwig was like, hello, Lynette, can you? And I'm like, who is this dude? Like, what? I didn't think it was legit, because I'm like, and I didn't even know who Childish Gambino was at the time. I had to Google him, and I was like, oh, community dude, oh, he's a rapper? Okay. So I go into, the rehearsal space. They're already shocked. They gave me 2 songs to learn. I brought in, at the time I had an M3. I still have it. I had my M3 and my M50. Came in there, lugged it in there, and was like, they're like, wow, you brought your own boards? And then they were like, well, do you know how to program? We have a tech here. I'm like, it's already done. They were impressed that I was able to program the sounds. And little did I know, so pretend this is a laptop. There's a guy in the room, and I thought it was really odd that he was like, he had his laptop like this, and he's acting like he's typing. And I later found out Donald was on the other end watching me, and they were auditioning me. I didn't know that, and I'm so grateful they didn't tell me that, because sometimes you have to trick the person. So, after that, I was on a plane to Chicago the next day. That was 6 years ago, and I'm still playing the stage with Childish Gambino. So, yeah, it's just a great opportunity. Yeah. Yes, sir. Getting into Berkeley? Let me tell you, for me, when I went to Berkeley years ago, I have a baby face. Don't let the baby face fool you. I am actually 41 years young. So I just have a baby face. But, it was very rewarding, but it was scary. So when I was in high school, I had a guidance counselor who told me about Berkeley. I thought I was just going to go to San Francisco Conservatory, or Juilliard. I didn't even know there was this contemporary music school. And she told me about it, and I was, sheltered, preacher's kid. I was like, I just want to stay in California. And I was like, where is this school? And they were like, Boston. I'm like, what? Boston? That's on the other end of the world. But Berkeley had a summer program that they do. Where are you from? Massachusetts. Oh, so you already live out there. So have you gone to the 5-week program yet? I would say definitely go to that, because they give you tools to utilize to help you get into the school, and it gives you a glimpse of whether you like it or not. I think you love it. For me, being a weirdo musician, going to a regular public high school, people who didn't understand me being into my art more than like, going on a date or something like that. I didn't go to 5 week, but I went to Berkeley in LA, which is the same thing. It's 2 weeks. And that's where I actually met Robert Glasper. He was at that same summer camp. We were both 16 at the time. I'm in the practice room, like practicing, and I'm just, doing like warm-ups like, right? And I'm doing that. And then I hear next door someone's playing Flight of Bumblebee. But they're playing it like kind of swing jazz style. And I'm like, I got to know who this is. So I knocked on the door, and this tall, skinny black dude answers the door like, what's up? And I'm like, and look where he is now, you know what I'm saying? But I would say go to the 5 week program, network with people. If you want to network with me, my Instagram is HammondGal. You can DM me. I love to share, tips to young, inspiring musicians. That's a passion of mine. So, yeah, hit me up. HammondGal, Lynette Williams on Instagram. If any of you guys, have any questions, musically or Berkeley, have children that are interested in going to Berkeley, I can share my experience and see if it's your experience. Cool? Yes, sir.
Do you have any opinions on using virtual instruments? Do you use them on stage, or do you think about it?
I would love to do that one day. When I used to play with Guapale, I used to use Main Stage, which was had some really, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that program, some really, really cool pianos, but I got scared because it kept, just like how the video on my keyboard, on my computer, sometimes the sounds will wig out. So I just felt more comfortable. It's a passion of mine to program my own sounds anyway, and trying to get it as close to the track as I can, for me, is very fulfilling. And to see people like Donald one day, I was playing this song called The Worst Guys, and this is the sound that I created for it, which is probably the best sound I've ever programmed for him. And we were 3 years in, and he said, wait a minute, you're playing that live? And I was like, you never knew this? I was like, that's the greatest compliment ever. And he was like, whoa. He was like, all that time, I was wondering, what is Lynette doing on that? And I was like, yeah, I've been playing the main part. So yeah, virtual, I want to incorporate it again in the future, but I'm a big workstation, analog type of live keyboard player. Yes, sir.
Do you, and with your multi-keyboard setups, because I have this problem when I play. Do you do individual sends to all the front of house, or do you have a mixer there?
Good question. When I used to play with virtual sounds, I used to have a mixer on stage, but with Layla, I do have a mixer, and I'm only playing 2 boards with her, and a Hammond. I'm playing an actual Hammond B3 with her. But with Donald, everything is, we're a silent stage, so everyone has an in-ears, and we're basically, we have one of the greatest sound guys in the world, and it's so pristine that I wouldn't even imagine putting a mixer. Now, the guitar players, we have 2 guitar players. One plays mainly guitars. The other one plays guitars, and he adds some keys for me to kind of lift the load as if I didn't have enough keyboards on stage. But he has a mixer himself, but for me, no.
Okay, so, the reason that I ask is, like playing with multiple boards, sometimes, because I play, cover bands and things where, it's the house engineer.
Right.
They're not used to what you're playing.
Right.
The sounds you get. And,
Right.
and sometimes, I'll usually, with my own mixer, I'll usually mix myself to try to keep it simple. But, sometimes there'll be the patch in that particular room,
yeah.
the hot patch, and then you just
Yes.
And, I'm just, what your experience with that and kind of how you dealt with that.
I have dealt with that. It's funny that you say that. And then, a lot of times people don't understand the difference between mono and stereo. There are, especially if you're a keyboard player who loves to play like padded, pinned keyboard sounds, tremolo sounds. It's not easy, and I can totally relate. There have been times where I just wanted to, Mr. Soundman. I love you, Tim. Awesome. Everyone give him a hand. He's awesome. But, there have been times where I have to explain to them, like this board in particular, I needed to go stereo. There are some sounds, and I try to, and like you say, I do, sometimes I'll do wedding gigs, and you don't really get the luxury of having a sound check. You just have to plug it and play. And sometimes, there are patches that are just like louder and more significant than others. And, I would just say whenever you can, just try and get that sound check in or have a conversation with the sound guy and say, okay, listen, there are certain sounds. Can I just show you my levels? And I usually keep my levels at 80%, just so I can have some wiggle room just in case some sounds are louder than others. And I have them bring me up, so.
Yeah, I noticed you still kind of adjust a little.
Yeah, I was adjusting today. Yeah, but normally, I don't have to. Normally, it's been, I've gotten used to it. Oh, but they've had to do this thing. This is why it's funny. I have to keep it on 80% because they started putting tape. My tech started putting tape in front of the volumes like, don't go beyond this button with an arrow. And I thought it was pretty funny, but he was right. It worked. It actually works. I would look at it like, okay, I can't touch it. But it comes with discipline. Like, as you see, I didn't have those today, so I kind of moved. I was like, I'm rebellious. Billy's not here today. Hi, Billy. He's probably on the live right now. But that's a great question. I hope that gives you some clarity. Awesome. Yes, sir.
I think I know the answer to this, but do you play totally improvisational, or do you do it the same way every time?
Great question. Well, with Childish Gambino, I do it the same way every time. There's a part of the set where he introduces the band, and my great colleague, her name is Danny Markham, incredible percussion player, incredible. She plays vibraphones and Glock. She takes a solo, and then I take a solo, and I do that solo verbatim every night. It's just easier for me, and it's easier each time now the band engages with me in certain things with the solo because they know what's coming. And most of his songs, we play just like the record, except for songs like Redbone. There are songs where he lets it stretch out more, where he wants it, of a live feel. So in the beginning, as you could tell in Redbone, everything was pretty much by the book, if you're familiar with the song. And then at the very end, I was able to let loose on the organ. And every night, I might change it up a little, but it's still kind of the same. But with Layla, it's improv. Like, I still play the song just like the record, but it's more free-flowing. Sometimes she just wants it to just be me and her, and she'll do a song by Donny Hathaway, and I'll freak out for a minute, like, oh, God. But then, it's really cool, and she lets me open up more, so. Even the main keyboard? Like, the main keyboards, like, when I was playing Angel, I was pretty much sticking to the record, which I'm on. I have the privilege of playing piano on with her. But, I pretty much stick to the record, and then when the artist or the music director gives me the go-ahead, then I'm like, okay, you sure? You sure? Okay, cool. But for the most part, I stick to the record. Yeah. Yes, ma'am, in the pink.
Two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, are you wearing, I can't see.
Oh, okay.
Are you wearing headphones, like monitoring headphones while you're up there, especially when you're in a loud setting where there's a lot of people playing around you?
When I'm with Gambino, yes, I'm wearing in-ear monitors. So my sound is pretty much, I don't really hear anything. I have really great in-ears. They're from Ultimate, no, this is horrible. I can't remember which ear company because I had Ultimate Ears. They're from Ultimate Ears, and there's a 16 driver, so they're heavy bass. And it's almost like I'm closed from the outside world. Like, those in-ears, when they're molded right, it's like, it's just me and whatever sounds I have in there, so yeah.
And also, just, could you give us an idea, too, of, first of all, let me give kudos, because my goodness, so many keyboards. I can
Oh, wow.
function if I had two of them. I usually don't. I have one, what's your basic workflow when you're in a situation like this?
Like, as far as when I'm on stage?
Yeah.
I've gotten so used to playing all of these boards. It wasn't easy. Like, even today, I kind of struggle because the levels are not where they usually are. And I'm sitting. It's a good exercise. I'm standing. I'm sitting up. I'm standing. I'm swiveling to the left. I'm swiveling to the right. I'm standing. So it's definitely a workout. But you kind of get into a flow once you get used to it. Like with Donald, if we have like a break in between, it is when I first come back a little hard at first. It's like, ooh, okay, let me find my bearings, let me make sure. And I have one of the greatest techs in the world who makes sure that my levels and everything are the same. So I'm kind of in a good workflow now, if that answers your question. Cool. Or do we have any more? Okay, yes, ma'am.
And I'm just getting at the end of this session because we just got here.
Okay,
I play in a small environment, and I have two keyboards.
okay,
And I have a drummer and I have a bass player playing along beside me.
okay.
And I'm wondering, and I didn't get to hear you play all these keyboards.
Oh.
You got all these array of keyboards. I feel that I don't play that. I want it to be fuller.
Mm-hmm.
My playing to be fuller.
Okay.
Do you have anything to assist you to make all your sound?
Definitely. We have playback tracks. So there are, especially with Donald Glover, there's some songs, he has like 8 different keyboard tracks. He'll have just like little hidden, like, whirly, like when you heard me on one song where you heard me just going in and out playing just little twirls like that. But like I was explaining to someone earlier, a lot of my sounds are also MIDI'd. So this is playing. I pre-programmed it. So I don't even have to worry about that, so I can focus on 2 boards here. And then I'm fortunate to have a guitar player in the band who also plays some little auxiliary board sounds too. But if you don't have backing tracks, I just say, for me, my go-to is piano and strings, and there are even patches within that already are layered that way. And if you want to like play that on one board, and then if you want to add something else like an organ element on top, that really can fill it up too. I think I have time for 2 more questions. This is great. Yes, sir. Thank you, my brother.
So, question, can you explain to the audience how maybe the set list mode as a live performer
Yes.
Has changed the way that you get around as
Oh, yeah.
multiple songs or multiple sounds?
Mhm.
How maybe that has enhanced from other experiences of other boards that you have used?
Oh, yeah. That's a great question. So this has changed the game for me in so many ways. That set mode list has been incredible because it's sometimes annoying when you have to go from one song to the next. In the past, before I started playing the Chronos, I used to have to look at the set list on the paper of the show and literally, try and and go into that sound before playing the next song. And the cool thing about the set list, everything is at a flick of one button. And even if they skip a song, I can just, I have everything visibly. And you can go into, you can have 16 slots, you can have 8 slots or 4 slots, meaning just 4 sounds on your set list, or you can go up to 16 where I can go from this, then, or it's just so many. It really makes life easier. And that, combined with these 2 boards being sent to me MIDI, I can just play everything freely. I don't have to worry about, oh God, I have to change the sounds. And it's been a life changer. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. The Chronos is killing the game. I'm telling y'all, the Chronos is killing the game. And yeah. One more question? Anyone else? Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, I noticed you mentioned the Fender Rhodes, and I know you sponsored by Hammond, but also Cord.
Yes.
Has anybody had plans like Hammond did with the new Hammonds
Mhm.
B3? Has anybody had plans to upgrade Fender Rhodes because they're getting harder and harder to find?
They are, I agree. They are getting harder to find. We pretty much have one Fender Rose that we travel with. Not that I know of. That's another reason why when I can't get to the Rhodes, that's another thing I love about this board, the Chronos. It has such cool Rhodes sounds on here. You have like the Frank McComb one that I use for the more funkier. And then you have like the Lush Herbie Hancock's Butterfly. There's so many array of Rhodes sounds that I almost don't miss the real Fender Rhodes, but I agree with you. They're hard to get more and more. But I just want to thank everyone so much for coming here. I feel so honored that you guys sat here with me. Let me play a little music for you. And once again, I'm Lynette Williams. Thank you.
Thank y'all. And you can meet Lynette.